like rusty, I don't even really know. It's been a while. This is like take 100, by the way. Here we go. On this episode of The Sauce, we talk about my 3 must-have paints. What's up, internet land, and welcome back to The Sauce. I suppose I took a bit of a break, like a short break, but I'm back. I'm excited to be making content again on YouTube. If you guys have been wondering where I've been spending a lot of time over on Twitch and on Instagram this year making content. If you guys aren't already, go ahead and swing by both my Instagram and my Twitch and follow me there for more. You can find links to all that down below. Without further ado, let's jump in and talk about these 3 paints that I can't live without. The first paint that we have up is Monument Pro Acryl Dark Silver. One of the cornerstones of my painting style is using a good, trusty, true metallic paint that you can always get one coat coverage with. Pro Acryl Dark Silver absolutely nails this. So far in my testing, I've thinned this down a lot in order to put it on quick and thin over many models in a sitting, and still have not been able to break down the pigments enough to separate them. For the most part, I'm incredibly impressed with the Pro Acryl metallics. Previously being a scale 75 metallics user, I can tell you that these are top notch. These paints go on smooth, and there's just something about their silver range that has a little bit of a cold value that just does it for me. In your painting cornerstone, I would challenge you to find one good true metallic you can trust. This is something that you should understand how to use it, when to use it, and should be using it as much as possible across a lot of models. Silver is my color for this. Yours might be gold or bronze, but all I can tell you is find one metallic paint you really trust and hold on to it. Mine is Pro Acryl Dark Silver. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Before we move on, let's catch up the rest of this model. Thanks to the magic of video editing, here we go. Boop, 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 boop. My next must-have paint, and it is a legendary one, it's Pro Acryl White. You might notice in this segment, we appear to be painting a different model entirely. And we are, and that's because I'm a pro YouTuber, and I accidentally recorded the entire thing on our actual test model. Well, I thought I was recording it, and I wasn't. So, yeah, about that. Sorry. So, I did it on another model. It's really important for you guys to be able to see Pro Acryl White live in action. The reason Pro Acryl White is in my must-have range is that I can pretty much cover almost any detail on a model in one coat. This allows me to then come back in with contrast paints and knock out details in a 2-step process. Even though you have to go back in and do a coat of white, and then you add your contrast for the details, this is still faster than your traditional base coat, shade, highlight technique. This allows you to knock out most details on a model in 2 steps instead of 3 at least, if not more. Contrast paints are a fantastic tool for knocking out details, but in order for them to really rock and roll, you need a white base coat underneath them. Which leads me into the Pro Acryl White magic that you see here. Pro Acryl White truly is a fantastic paint for so many reasons, but the fact that it can pretty much cover everything in one coat allows you to unlock time by getting your base coat down before your contrast in one simple step. Pro Acryl White is the reason that Pro Acryl even exists in the first place. It truly is a game-changing white, the color that people have the most trouble with, made easy by Monument Hobbies. This paint is absolutely must have, and if you can ever get your hands on it, I highly recommend you do. Now let's jump back over to the right model. I promise, I'm just rusty. I'm rusty at YouTube, guys. It's gonna be a bit of a bumpy journey for all of us to start off, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get back into it and be shooting videos in no time with hardly any dumb moves. Nothing ever goes wrong. Definitely don't tune in live on Twitch where things definitely don't go wrong. Definitely not all the time. Yeah, it's... I'm gonna figure it out someday, probably, maybe. You will too. We'll figure out how to paint together someday. So we'll get this together for sure. Now that we've switched back over to the model we're actually painting today, let's go ahead and slap some Gorgon to Fur contrast right on top of our white pouches, and this model is officially done. No, it's not. Enter the paint that's been all the buzz this year, all the hype, and the paint that everybody is talking about. Streaking Grime. Streaking Grime has rocketed this year in popularity, although this paint is not new at all, and in fact, if anything, the paint itself has gotten worse this year. The usage of it and the popularity among especially the grimdark community has flat out exploded. This paint is the efficiency king, and it allows you to unlock a step of your model painting at a speed that's just truly unrivaled. Your ability to completely control the application and removal of Streaking Grime is, in my opinion, what makes it such a powerful tool. Streaking Grime is itself not a technical product at all. Streaking Grime is not a tough technique. In fact, I would say it's not even a technique at all. I would say Streaking Grime shines in the realm of painting bravery. If you're not comfortable painting super brave, you're in for a rude awakening when it comes to Streaking Grime. I can assure you this product is not for the faint of heart, but it will reward your bravery significantly with absurdly fast, unifying washing and overall weathering. Oh, and it leaves this perfectly matte, beautiful finish on your model. Honestly, it's one of a kind. If you've never seen this product before, hold on tight, kids. This is pretty wild. Streaking Grime is an enamel paint. I apply mine as an all-over wash through an airbrush. And this is why you need to be brave when applying Streaking Grime. Shoot it straight on the model, cover the entire thing. Yeah, that model that you just painted that took an hour, just cover it. Cover the whole thing. Cover every detail, completely coat it in enamel. It's terrifying the first time you do it. Truly is. Now that we've got our Streaking Grime covering the model, I let it dry just for a few minutes. You could honestly let it sit there for 24 hours, 48, 72 hours. That's the best part about it, is the waiting time can completely vary because enamel is activated with mineral spirits or white spirits for many hours later. Seriously, many hours. There was a time where I didn't like how a model looked and fixed it 2 days later. It's a true story. That's how. It's just so good. It's so OP. So OP. It's breaking the painting meta. After you've let Streaking Grime dry for, in my opinion, however long you want, but I shoot for between 5 and 10 minutes, I come in with some Winsor & Newton white spirits. I apply mine with a damp Q-tip. Now this is a big debate. You can do damp, wet, fairly dry. You could do it with paper clips, toothpicks, smaller Q-tips. You could do it with makeup sponges. There's a ton of different ways to remove the Streaking Grime once it's applied. However, what you use is not important, it's the chemical. White spirits essentially thins down and reactivates the Streaking Grime because it's an enamel product and then absorbs it back into whatever you're using. So for example, if you have a slightly damp Q-tip, putting the mineral spirits on, touching the model will then thin down the enamel paint that's on there and absorb it back into the Q-tip. This allows you essentially to lift up and eliminate this wash wherever you want. Once you become comfortable and confident with enamel washes and oil washes, you start to realize that you now have complete control over a unifying wash. This makes you pretty bold. This allows you to do a lot of stuff that you didn't think was possible before and allows you to get away with almost murder scot-free. You could do egregious things to models during this phase and you can probably fix it. Don't be afraid of this technique. As crazy as it looks, start experimenting with it and I promise it will reward you. Now that we've got all those slapped on, using the magic of video, we're gonna fast forward a little bit and show you guys the final product. These final pictures are only a couple steps after what you just saw. The Streaking Grime dries and leaves a very, very unique, one-of-a-kind finish to many of your models. It leaves a very dull matte finish with a little bit of a dusty nature to it that just, mwah. Seriously, the finish of Streaking Grime is arguably the best part, and there's so many great parts about it. It's at least my favorite part. We've added a little bit of OSL glow to this model, and it's done and ready for the table. I hope you guys are able to start to understand why these three are my cornerstones and why they're on every single model. Essentially, think about it like this. Using a true metallic paint that you can trust and cover everything in one coat allows you to pick out metallic details in one step. You can then come back through in the next step, hit white on the rest of your details, and then in the next step, you're gonna cover all that white with some contrast paints. You just did all of your details on the model in 3 steps. All of those details are gonna be getting hit later with a unifying wash, which helps you bring all of it back together in an amazing one-step way. The unifying wash helps bring all of your colors back together, helps add some wash to your metals. It helps add even more depth and more contrast to your details that you painted with contrast. And now we're in a contrast inception loophole, and I don't even know what's going on anymore. We're in contrastception, which sounds like actually not a bad place to be. As long as Christopher Nolan directs the film, then I'm in. I'm interested. None of this, any other director trash. Unless it's J.J. Abrams, then maybe. Each one of these paints plays a super important role in my current painting style, and we'll talk through my painting style in more future videos. Now, you don't have to use these exact 3 paints, but I would challenge you to start to think about which 3 paints are the most important to you and how you can use that to your advantage. Using a good product can help you speed up your painting, which in my opinion is the fastest way to get better. The more miniatures you can paint, the better you get. And you can paint more miniatures by painting faster. Thank you guys for stopping by, and welcome back to The Sauce. We'll see you guys next time. Peace!